Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and as the 3.0 Fall of Oriath beta comes out in something like 8 hours from this video, 6:30 AM my time, so I'll be up at around 5 AM, I wanted to go over just a bit of the information that we've been given regarding the beta thus far, since there does seem to be a bit of confusion and quite a lot of questions regarding it still. So I wanted to just go over the news posts to discuss what's happening and just a little bit about how I'm going to approach it, maybe just kind of the aspect of what character I'm going to make and how I'm going to approach testing things with that character. So there's plenty of information regarding the beta at this point available. There was one post made a few weeks ago and one made just earlier today describing what the beta process is going to be. It's specifically on the day and what's involved in the beta, and I want to go over just a bit of that right now. So first things first, it is a closed beta. You need a beta key to get into it, but they're not that hard to come by at the moment. So as of the launch tomorrow, for me it's at 6:30 AM. When that happens, there will be a beta client for you to download separately to the current game client, or through Steam there'll be a link to the side somewhere. You'll be able to download the beta client, and there's a link for you to input your beta key. Now, the way to achieve a beta key so far is to have either spent $500 in the past supporting the game. For me, I've been playing for about 5 years, so I've easily achieved $500, I do believe, through previous supporter packs and point packs and all of that. You can buy one of the new supporter packs that come out tomorrow with the beta launch as well. Any one of those supporter packs will give you a beta key. You can win some through races. Now, there are plenty to win over here in the races coming up and the races that have been, and they're going to be handed out daily or the week after the 1 week and 2 week races, so plenty of those going around as well. And as well as that, they also are giving out plenty of beta keys on a daily basis, just randomly to people that may not have them. So about, they say, 500 to 1,000 each day going to be given out to random people. Now, an important thing to note here is if you have spent the 500 before and you already have a beta key from that or a beta key from somewhere else and you buy a supporter pack, you get a second beta key. So you can give that beta key to a friend or anyone else. So there is some good things coming there. And as of the launch tomorrow, there will be a trailer for Act 5, so pretty video, I imagine, will be pretty cool. And then there'll be some other people and streamers, I imagine, releasing some content for you to watch if you want to spoil some beta action for yourself before even getting in there. Now, these supporter packs that are coming tomorrow will undoubtedly be pretty damn cool and have good value because they give you a beta key to start with. And as well as that, Beck says they're the best ones ever made. Not like she's going to say they're crap either way, but anyway. And a lot of the art, I think, from the Oriath so far looks really sweet. And I feel like I may be dipping into the biggest supporter pack for the first time ever, personally. Now, some of the other really important information is what's actually happening in the beta. There will be the double dipping changes, for example, the energy shield changes. You'll be able to play Act 1 through to 7, not currently 8, 9, or 10, which are the other 3 that are also released with the expansion. Act 8 is coming in a couple weeks, supposedly. They're just not ready to put that in beta. So the new stuff will be 5, 6, and 7 for you to play, and all of the revamped stuff for our characters currently. There will be no new skill gems currently on the beta, and as well as that, no current unique changes or new uniques being released with this beta. And one other thing that isn't included that is kind of a bummer is no patch notes for this beta, because they're just not ready to release them yet. So we're kind of going to be walking through the dark trying to discover all this shit by ourselves. A lot of it will be fairly obvious, a lot of it will be, yeah, pretty hard to understand, I imagine, exactly what's changed or what will be changing. But it is a test realm, it is a beta, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt. No one's really expecting you to play this. It's just there if you want to get early access to 3.0. If you don't, then, well, you got some Legacy League to still play and a bunch of races while you painstakingly wait the next 5 or 6 weeks, which is what beta should take, they say, till 3.0 hits. Now, something else that's important to note that has been learnt today is the Pantheon system will be included, but not all of it, because it still branches over to Act 8. And as well as that, Merciless Lab is not currently included in the beta, and I'm not quite sure about Uber Lab. Uber Lab I think still is because it's through mapping, and we can still map in this version, but there won't be any Merciless Lab, so you won't be able to complete all of your Ascendancies, which is kind of a big deal for Scion. So those that wanted to test your Scions, you probably should bench that idea for a couple of weeks, because even if we can get to Uber Lab, that is kind of a real big pain to test, to wait until you're in Uber Lab territory just to get your next 2 points to get 6 points in total. So Scion will be fairly lackluster with just 4 points compared to some of the other ascendancies. So Scion is something you probably should not really be looking into for the next couple weeks at least anyway, which is a bit of a bummer. And lastly, this is a beta client, so you won't be keeping any of the characters, and there will be realm wipes every now and again when I imagine they release patches or any important things that currently change what's on the beta. For example, Act 8, they say, will include new content, and they don't really want it to be too distorted by our previous leveling, so there may be a wipe during that. If you can't really handle wipes all the time, then it's probably best to just wait till you can play 3.0 in its entirety. Now, as for the character I will quite likely be playing or testing, I haven't really landed on it, but the general idea I can give you is it's probably going to be physical damage or melee damage in general, so maybe a Cyclone, an Infernal Blow, a Sunder, an Earthquake, something like that, and it could be a Berserker or a Slayer, something like that. Ideally, I did want to do Slayer, and I'll share that with you right now, because it is quite easily one of the best starting classes just because of all the perks it has. It scales really well just without gear and seems to give you a nice comfortable start early league. But the problem is it has 20% cull, and I really don't want to use 20% cull on a bunch of new content and new bosses to then experience less of the boss and less of the end of the boss, which should be the most hectic phase. So Slayer is something I'm currently not leaning towards because I just want to avoid having a 20% cull, which means I very likely could play a Berserker. I wanted to try Scion and try a couple of the combos and all that, but it doesn't seem like a good idea right now. So it could be a Berserker, and I think it could still be Cyclone or something melee, and likely trying out some of the revamped passives and whatever's going to happen on the passive tree. As well as that, could just be face breakers if that seems like the easiest start. If you're just looking for the easiest possible start, I do think like dual War Chief totems, something like that should be really easy. Or a pretty classic Flame Blast. The Slayer Duelist Ice Crash guy that I made for Legacy League start, I think is a really strong starting character too, and probably what I would do if I did not want to avoid Slayer so much. So that is basically all the information I will talk about in this video. And lastly, just wanted to mention that just recently Twitch Prime has partnered with a whole bunch more countries. So previously you could get it on like 10 countries or something. Now it's available in over 200 countries. So get your free MTX while it still lasts, and throw a free Twitch Prime sub via Twitch to any streamer you choose, even if it isn't me. So hope you guys get a bit of sleep or a bit of rest before the beta, if that's possible for you. I will try, but unlikely get very good sleep. And I'll see you in the morning. I'll hopefully be on about an hour earlier than the actual launch of beta, so we can sit there on the hype train, just going nowhere for a little bit. And just before I go, I will mention to you guys that I did finally join 2017 and start a Twitter as well as an Instagram, so you guys can follow me there. I'll hopefully update it whenever I can and all the time. I'll try and keep it in mind as much as possible to live life via social media. So Twitter, if you want to follow me there, should serve as a tool for me in the future to post videos, random thoughts on things, as well as when I'm going to be streaming, if it's random, or when I'm not going to be streaming, since I do have a fairly usual stream schedule. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's hope the game gets pretty fucking good, and see you next time.